Something's wrong in the neighborhood. We're gonna call Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And then there's a limousine
No.
with the sirens on.
That's not right.
Coming around the corner.
Nope.
Zapping those ghosts.
No, that's not it.
What? No.
It's shoot, I don't know how it goes. Do one more verse.
Okay.
Stick to the program though.
When there's bumping in the night.
Yep.
And you're with your wife. Don't turn around. It's a ghost.
I'm pretty sure that's it. And welcome everyone to another episode of Raised
by Toons.
My name is Dan, the Keymaster Mason.
And I'm Chad Stay Puffed Cook.
And if you couldn't tell by Chad's lyrical love potions, we will be reviewing The Real Ghostbusters. Catchy every time you hear it.
Always. I never get tired of it. The animation helps it even so. Plus with the proton lasers going off near the end of it.
You do notice that when listening to it, the sound effects of like the scurrying feet and the cars taking off are very prominent. Well done for the sound effects team from Columbia Pictures, Deke, and Coca-Cola Telecommunications, who bought the rights to this Ghostbusters thing.
From Filmation.
Do you want to go into why it's called The Real Ghostbusters?
Of course. Well, we should. They would be questioning why. I think the listeners.
Right. So, why is it the real one? Why do they feel like they have to prove to us that they're the real ones?
Well, pretty much a company called Filmation.
I've heard of them.
They created a cartoon called The Ghostbusters.
Okay.
And it involved two men and a gorilla. And they pretty much went around catching ghosts, or stopping ghosts in some capacity.
Sounds solid.
Yeah, and then the movie, The Ghostbusters, came out, and it did amazingly well, obviously.
I've heard of it.
And so they wanted to bank on it, Filmation wanted to bank on it, and make another cartoon, but they can't have two Ghostbusters cartoons, so they had to make The Real Ghostbusters.
It seems like a little slap in the face to them. Like, hey, we're the real Ghostbusters. They didn't have to prove that. They could have been like the Uncanny Ghostbusters.
Well, technically they didn't have to because the Ghostbusters only lasted one season, and then the Real Ghostbusters lasted for 7. So it was just...
Not only did the Ghostbusters original last one season, it lasted 2 months.
Wow.
It started in September, ended in December.
I hope the gorillas sounded very silly.
Yeah.
Hello, we have to catch this ghost.
You didn't realize that gorillas were actually very prone to ghost hunting. Like their natural animalistic
Amy,
skills.
Love you.
They can do sign language and catch ghosts.
Hey.
But The Real Ghostbusters premiered September 13th, 1986, and ended September 28th, 1991, giving us a resounding 7 seasons, 173 episodes.
Yowza.
Put that in your head for a second, Chad. Let me spin this canvas for you.
Okay, spin it.
So, a lot of the shows that we've done that were classics that have withstood the test of time had 2 seasons, 3 seasons, maybe 60 episodes. This has gone on for 7 seasons, 173 episodes, and it's not on TV right now.
Nope.
You have to sort of go out of your way to search for it and find it.
The last time they played it on TV was reruns on Jetix or Jetix.
Yeah,
I think. channel, but now I believe it's taken off the air. But the DVDs are available on Amazon. I've bought two of. You could buy them in a set, or you could buy them in individually volumes. But
yeah, 2008 those came out, so you guys can stock up for pretty cheap right now too.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of cheap, Chad, where would you like to stay for affordable prices and all the ghouly ghosts you could imagine?
Well, it's pretty pricey there in New York, but I heard the Sedgwick Hotel is a place to be.
The Sedgwick Hotel? Yeah. I've heard of them. Sedgwick Hotel. We cater to all classes.
Wink.
They're our sponsors, if you couldn't tell from that. Thank you, Sedgwick Hotel, for sponsoring our Real Ghostbusters episode today. And, Chad, you being the man of many voices, we have quite the A-list for this. This was A-list cartoon voices in their prime. You want to dish out a few for the Toonsters out there?
Well, the first up was Lorenzo Music, who voiced Peter Venkman. And if you Toonsters out there will take notice that Lorenzo Music was also the voice of Garfield. And so he sounded pretty much like this, where he's like, Slimer. Oh, jeez. Mondays. Lasagna. He didn't really talk about lasagna in Ghostbusters.
He did. Rewatch it in reverse, Chad. He just talks nothing about...
He's in a cat suit the whole time.
In that little box with the blue blanket on him, sleeping and bugging John to death.
And,
before we go into it more, we just sort of skipped in assuming everyone just knows what the fuck obviously. The Ghostbusters are.
I mean, if you don't really...
It's so common knowledge
you should
that...
just... But we'll tell you anyway.
You should do something where we can trap you in a containment unit.
Yeah.
We didn't just hint that.
No. But
nobody listens to this.
I mean, no, it's pretty much...
We're in my mom's
four
basement
scientists who decide, hey... We should catch ghosts.
that is a nice, tight, condensed version of it. Go on.
But wait, you know what? We shouldn't do it for free. We should charge people. Because even though these are evil ghosts, why aren't we getting paid for it?
It's the land of opportunity. It's
America, baby.
Maybe you've heard of it, Toonsters?
Although I'm being very exaggerative about it because... the evil ones they kind of do for free. That's more of like a...
They don't really have an option.
No, it's like some of them they have to do because it's the end of the world type of...
Anyway,
so they catch
Lorenzo
ghosts...
Music...
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going back to the
because we got the gist.
Yeah,
you guys know it.
You guys know. Ghostbusters. Get
it. Lorenzo Music passed away.
Oh, yes. Yes, he did. Well, no, they...
That's not why he left the show.
No, it's not why he left, but he passed away, though. He's dead now.
He passed away. Very talented voice... But he did seasons 1 through 2. Picking up for him.
Picking up was Dave Coulier. As you might know him, Uncle Joey from Full House.
It was, what?
Oh, his woodchuck. Was it red?
Oh, that was really good. It's like he's here. Dave Coulier was also in Muppet Babies, which we reviewed in the past.
And the reason why... music was replaced was because there was Bill Murray himself actually mentioned to Maurice LaMarche, who we'll get to in a minute, that why does his character sound like Garfield, and he didn't even know that Lorenzo Music did Garfield, so that's why they kind of replaced him with someone who sounds a little more like him, but it's sort of like a surfing
Bill Murray.
Or Bill Murray, or we obviously are terrible
at this, so we can't complain.
Yeah, so.
But we did. But the funny thing is, Bill Murray later on ended up playing Garfield in the live action movie. So it sort of comes back to bite you in the ass.
And
other talents here.
Oh yes, other talents. Frank Welker. He played Ray Stantz, Heart of the Ghostbusters.
Yep.
And I mean, I really can't do his. It's more like Skeeter from a little bit like Skeeter from Muppet Babies, like, but a deeper.
I don't know.
Well, no. Actually, no. You know what? I'm just talking out of my ass.
But there is a fun voice thing here. I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna give you Toonsters a little tidbit. That's right. That's the siren.
That's the siren of the Ghostbusters.
That's the fun siren, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you like it. Anyway, so the fun siren means there was one more Ghostbuster.
Yes.
And that was Winston.
Well, we didn't go over Egon.
Did we not do Egon yet?
No, I mentioned Maurice LaMarche, but, Maurice LaMarche played Egon in the Real Ghostbusters. And he obviously played the Brain in Pinky and the Brain.
Yep.
And the voice he does for Brain is very similar to Egon.
And he always does Orson Welles.
Yeah, Orson Welles.
But
back to Winston, the black sheep of the group.
Chad.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
They don't know that you're black.
No, I'm not talking about me, but I didn't mean it like that.
You did. Anyway.
He's the odd man out. That's what I meant.
Somebody auditioned for the part of Winston. Chad?
Well,
it wasn't Chad.
No, it wasn't me. But it was Ernie Hudson, the original Winston Zedmore from the movie. And pretty much he auditioned for the animated... Because all three of the other actors are well-adjusted in the cinema world. And so Ernie, he hasn't been in much.
He has to Ernie it.
He has to... But, so he decided to go for the cartoon. Why not take on his animated character as well? But they denied him, and they hired much more well-known Arsenio Hall at the time.
Toonsters, get this straight. The man rejected his own part.
Yeah.
So Arsenio could play his part.
And
the original. That's like if Johnny Depp was like, hey, I want to, well, maybe on a lower scale.
Yeah.
But let's say Johnny Depp was like, I want to play Willy Wonka in the new cartoon. And they were just like, nah, man, we got Dave Coulier.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Willy Wonka.
And the thing was, Winston in the cartoon was much more fledged out character than he was in the. Oh, excuse me. than he was in the movie.
Who listens to this shit?
We know who listens, and you know who listens.
Moving on, there's also like Kath Susie, who was in Tiny Toons and My Little Pony.
Yeah, and she
played Janine.
Janine, the secretary, Melnitz.
Yeah,
sexy last name for a sexy lady.
So, Chad.
Yes.
Before we go into this, because there's a lot I want to get into with Ghostbusters. That's why I'm sort of scatterbrained right now. I don't.
Yeah, we're a little bit all over the place.
I don't know what I want to dive into first, but I do know that.
Well, did we tell them the creator of the series?
You want to go ahead?
Well, the creator's J. Michael Straczynski, and he created Babylon 5 pretty much. If you nerds out there listening,
there goes our fan base. Thanks.
Shut up. It's an endearing word.
Yeah, we got the jocks listening, and that's why.
But if you want to see something recent of his, check out Sense8 on Netflix. It's he's co-creator with the Wachowski siblings because they're not brothers anymore; they're siblings. But so he worked on that, and he created like Jeremiah for a while. That's a big cult following for that show. But yeah, so let's get back into.
Okay, here we go. Chad, I'm going to paint the picture.
Okay, you're painting the picture.
You ready?
Yeah.
You walk out of the door tonight after we finish this episode.
Okay.
You bump into this beautiful, long, red-headed girl. Mm-hmm. She is just the nicest girl you've ever met. Physique is just out of this world.
Okay.
You walk her home, get her home safe. She
Wait.
falls for you. No, I'm going to keep going. She falls for you. You guys end up seeing each other for years, okay?
Okay.
You go down on one knee,
yeah,
and you propose. Mm-hmm. She says yes. Mm-hmm. You guys spend 60 of the most wonderful years together. Mm-hmm. And then you come home one day, and she has this scared look on her face. Mm-hmm. And there's blood all over the floor. Mm-hmm. Seems that there was an accident. She tripped, hit her head, and died.
Okay. Sorry.
So,
go on.
Because she's old.
Yeah.
So you run up to her, and you can still feel the cold embrace of her hands, just barely. Mm-hmm. And you look into each other's eyes, and right as you're about to say, I love you, I will never let you go. Yeah. Ghostbuster kicks down your door, sucks up your bride, throws her in a containment unit purgatory, and leaves you alone for the rest of your life.
Okay.
What bowl of cereal would you have the next day to mourn?
Well, I think it's obvious. I have Ghostbusters.
That was 3 minutes, by the way. Go on.
I'd have Ghostbuster cereal, Crunch The crunch bustin' fruity flavor with marshmallow ghosts.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah.
That seems very fulfilling. After you lose your loved one to a maniac kicking down doors and sucking up.
Hey, I mean, it's not like the human to ghost relation would have ended well anyway.
Well, here's the best part. They probably would have billed you too.
Yeah, that's true. But she wasn't evil. But okay, let's set the scenario for you.
Okay.
Okay, so you're out, you're walking both your dogs. It's nighttime, the full moon's out, and then all of a sudden, the moon does a 360, and it's the man in the moon's face, and he just meets his eyes.
Was he hiding?
He was facing the other way. And then
big reveal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so his eyes just widen, and the gaze just locks with yours. And you're stuck in a trance, but your dogs are barking. They get. But they get loose.
Okay, sorry, Toonsters, we got this. We got this.
They get loose. A car comes screeching by, and then the car moves out of the way to not hit your dogs. Crashes, explodes. A bone fragment from the guy's skull flies, hits you in the neck, in the the aorta artery there. You're bleeding out. The sun makes it. The moon. The man in the moon has a big grin on his face.
Why is he doing this?
All of a sudden, your eyes close. Your eyes open. You're on the moon. You're on the moon man's face. The man in the moon's face. And then all of a sudden, you're back in your house, but you can't touch anything because you're a ghost. And then some maniac kicks open the door and sucks you up. And then you're like, I'm kind of hungry. What kind of cereal would you have?
Oh, well, it's pretty obvious. With that specific scenario, yeah. I would have Boo-Berry.
Boo-Berry?
Because it seems very fitting that after all these sort of pulchlorific sort of hauntings that are happening to me, a nice Boo-Berry, very heavy on the marshmallows, but tame with the grain. It would complement it nicely. Now, Chad?
Yes.
Let's get into the show.
All right.
So, only 16 minutes in. Who cares? Anyway, so there's a lot of storylines that go into the Real Ghostbusters.
Yes.
And this is the thing. While rewatching the Real Ghostbusters, you realize that the storylines held up. They fleshed out, as Chad said earlier, they fleshed out characters and what the realm of possibilities were for the Ghostbusters.
Yes. And a lot of it, even though the title says Ghostbusters, you think, oh, they just hunt ghosts. That's not the case. In the show, they take on things of all supernatural form, like demons, trolls, from mythological lore and so on.
Literature.
Literature, even.
They've battled Sherlock Holmes, Watson,
they've taken the Boogeyman,
Christmas Carol ghosts.
Christmas Carol ghosts. They've traveled back in time, fought ogres.
Yeah. What was that episode with the Christmas Carol ghost with Ebenezer Scrooge?
It was called Xmas. Xmas on the.
Xmas marks the spot.
Yeah, Xmas marks the spot. That's correct.
And it's an interesting episode because if you can recall, they go back in time, alter literature, which I guess is their reality.
Yeah.
And they alter it, but when they come back to their time, everybody has a Scrooge mindset because he never changed his ways.
Yes.
And it just became the normal.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to go back and fix it. How do you feel about the Ghostbusters, sort of their role in the universe that they've created?
Well, I mean, at least they do take responsibility for it, but the question is, I mean, if you get into the logistics of it, if they went back into their own time, wouldn't they be influenced by the Ebenezer Scrooge way as well?
Right. Well, we can't get into time
Well, we can't.
Time.
That whole concept is just convoluted with
I do have something I've been dying to ask you, Chad.
Yeah.
The Ghostbusters suck up these ghosts.
Yes.
And they store them in the containment unit.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you that don't know, the containment unit is something Egon created to contain all the ghosts once they're captured. It's a purgatory, basically, for ghosts.
Pretty much, there's no escape for them unless they're let out or, the system fails of its own, accord.
So describe what it's like in the cartoon.
Pretty much, it's open space. There's no real land to stand. Obviously, most of the ghosts float or fly around anyway. But there are broken fragments of ground floating around, sort of like that if you have a platformer game and you have floating like...
It looks like Dimension X.
Yeah, Dimension X. Or even the inside of the Phantom Zone.
Oh, Wacky Land. Wacky Land from Looney Tunes.
Yeah, there are brief areas in there that have taken on the persona of some ghosts.
Yeah.
I've noticed. And
more like islands.
Yeah.
Ghost islands.
Sort of, yeah. And I mean, they're all, some of them grouped together, they talk to each other, but you notice sometimes there are episodes that go into the containment unit, like the Xmas on the Spot, Mark's the Spot one. Accidentally, Egon gets put in the containment unit, and I think Slimer is in there with him to help him get out and navigate around, not get slaughtered by all the ghosts they've captured and kept in there. And
so the containment unit, like I said earlier, is sort of like a purgatory, in the sense that there is nothing after. This is their reality now. It's just this vast, endless purgatory. But here's the thing. What? I guess the question is, what is there? What do you do? Like what did the ghosts do to deserve this punishment? Because not all of them are evil.
Well, I mean,
some are just eating food in a restaurant.
Maybe they're...
What's the punishment system, Chad?
I don't think they really have a judge and jury type of sentencing where it's a catch and release. Like, they do 5 years and let them out go. Because, like, what if it's a casual haunting of a house? I mean, it's not personally... It's not like a evil personal vendetta thing, So it's just like... This used to be where they live or something.
No, they can't be judge, jury, and executioner. I mean, you're a class 5, I'm a class 4. We'll get into that in a second. But you're going to mix all the classes of ghosts in one area. What if they start picking on the other ghosts, and the other ghosts are trapped in there? Well, what if they start using Slimer as like a bath towel that they rub between their crotch and their Grendel?
I mean, that's happened.
Yeah.
Well, like, they've picked on him in there.
See?
And they've tried to manipulate him to get him out. They want to get out. They're always edging to get out.
Yeah, because what the fuck are they going to do
with it? You have Sam Haines or whatever, and he's
Sam Haines?
Is that his name? For the evil Halloween demon guy.
Yeah.
Who he wants to create Halloween forever, which would be pretty awesome. Candy all the time. But, I mean, I don't think there would be sun ever again.
Diabetes Day.
True. But, I mean, he's pure evil, pretty much. There are ones that are pure evil that belong in there, that don't deserve the chance of escape. But, I mean, you got to take you have to crack a couple cookies, crack a couple...
Crack a cup of coffee, cup of cookie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
crumbling cookies
gotta crack a couple eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah, that's pretty much the saying.
So what would you do if you... Let's say Chad is sucked up accidentally, and he goes to this ghost purgatory, because Egon did it, so it can happen. Chad is now in the ghost purgatory, called the containment unit. Well, what does Chad do? Day one,
pretty much, I don't go anywhere without my lucky deck of cards, so I would, play solitaire for the first day. Maybe if I run into any ghosts, I just, pretend like those darn Ghostbusters put me away in here.
I'm going to add this part to it now, too. Okay. You can't float.
I can't float. Oh, no!
You're just falling endlessly until you hit one of those islands.
I think you automatically float in there.
Oh, it's
Egon,
just no gravity.
Yeah, there's no gravity. So I just have no control over the projection of where I've been thrown.
No,
so I'm just like,
Speaking of Chad in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Leads us to what's around the corner. Depending on when you're listening to this, the Republican national debates are coming up next week.
But before we really get into that, I would rather be in there if I knew I was going to hell. I'd rather be in the purgatory.
Oh, yeah. Well, you are.
Okay.
Easily, you're going to hell.
Well, I'll aim for purgatory.
Okay.
Or whatever. But it's a fiction. Yeah. So the Republican Party.
I'm glad we stopped what we were doing to just point out the obvious that you're going to hell.
Yeah.
But next week the Republican debates are going on, so we thought in the vein of doing senseless debates about stupid nothings. My political stance is nothing. I couldn't think of anything. Anyway,
whether Donald Trump's toupee is haunted by an evil poltergeist.
Today's debate is going to be between me, Dan Mason, and Chad Cook, and
of relation.
My side is that Chad most resembles Slimer.
And my side is I more resemble the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Now, Toonsters, you can vote in on our site if you wish, but I believe that Chad is the apparition of Slimer because notice the shape. Notice that when you look at Chad, he's always grumbling and making weird sounds, much like Slimer. Also, there is an endless slug trail of goo that is always trailing from the bottom of his feet.
I'll have to interject there because he doesn't have a slime trail because he would be a snail. When he goes through walls, he leaves a trace of slime, if that's what you meant to say. I just wanted you to get it right before you put your foot in the mouth. You know?
Okay, Chad, your point? Your counter.
But I would say I'm more like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man because of his physical endowment. I'm very large, and my footsteps make a squishy and an echo.
And you do tend to wear sailor clothing.
Yes, from time to time, and
no pants.
And I tend to make pig squeals like that when I stretch, and when I step on churches and towns. You know, when people don't want me to step on church. And fire hurts me. You know, it actually makes me angry.
Now. You know? Chad, like you just mentioned, your pig squealing sound.
Yes.
I think you tend to make more of a sound. That's what I hear every time you utter anything.
Really?
Yeah, there it is. That awful cringing sound.
See,
there it is again.
Well, it would be like.
Wait, I could do this.
No, you can't. It's awful. No, Slimer is more like.
But on the bright side, Slimer was cunning enough to escape the containment unit twice, which I don't think you could do. So I do secede to you, I think through your rebuts, that you do more resemble the Stay Puft Marshmallow
And if you
Man.
think about it, the old Genesis game of the Ghostbusters game, when the Marshmallow Man appears, he describes how he became the Marshmallow Man by eating a bunch of marshmallows.
And that's you?
Yeah, and I was like, that fits.
Chad, you would be the worst origin story.
Yeah, just like that. Just say,
well, I was sitting eating marshmallows.
They call me Joey Marshmallow, because I ate 12 marshmallows.
Joey Toasties.
Joey Toasties.
It's me, Joey Toasties.
Hey-o! Look at my sailor outfit. I love marshmallows.
You can fry me over an oven's open flame.
Don't get that chocolate near me. I taste delicious.
I don't like this game anymore. Anyway, we have a contest that we're planning. The Raised by Toons team is having a social media contest where you Toonsters can show us your artistic endeavors.
Yeah, be artistic.
Do it. Anyway, this is what the contest is. Best picture of me capturing Chad in any sort of ghost form possible. So I can be whatever version of a Ghostbuster you see in your head, Chad could be any sort of entity or apparition.
Like just amorphous, whatever kind of thing that pops in your brain.
He is a class 5, so you could draw him as a big fart.
Well, no.
That's how we all see him anyway.
I would think I would be a class like 6 or 7, but but class 5 does have some certain qualities that I do fall under.
Yep, fart.
But you are a class 4, so I would be much more powerful than you and much more hard to contain.
That's true. You. So for those of you that don't know, the classes we're discussing, and also brought to you by the Sedgwick Hotel, we cater to all classes. Mm-hmm. So let's do it together. Come on, you look so sad.
The Sedgwick Hotel, we cater to all classes.
So the classification system we're talking about was in the Ghostbusters movie, but they use it in the cartoon as well.
And video games and whatnot.
Yep. So there's 7 classes, I believe. And I...
Well, no, there's
8 classes.
8 classes.
7. There's 7.
Oh, yeah, 7. You were right.
7 classes, getting gradually worse. 1 being pretty tame. 7 being Gozer and Zool.
Well, like, 1 being more like sounds and, like, vibrations. You'd hear or see things move in a house, but nothing visible to the eye.
Right. So, like, you thought you saw something in the corner of your eye sort of thing, or heard a bump in the night. I'm a class 4, which means my identity is established, and I have a distinct human form and a personality with a known identity, which is like Cleopatra, if you saw Cleopatra's ghost or something. Also,
or I mean, you can compare it to the librarian ghost in the movie.
Yes.
You see upper torso apparition, but she does have that second form she transforms to when she gets angry, like the
Yep, you're absolutely right.
But
Chad, on the other hand.
other hand, I could see myself being a 5, which is ectoplasmic manifestation, non-human form. Class 5s are normally emotionally charged events or side effects from ritual summonings, but who would want to summon me, you know? That's why I kind of go to the next one over, the
giant
6.
Penguin put this in the park.
Which is it's a lower life form where like
lower life forms, right?
It would take unique solutions to like any kind of like Achilles heel that rumored about the ghost or like if it's a allergy to something, I'd be like achoo, and then that would defeat me in some way. Achoo. It's some out of the way annoying task that you'd have to do to catch me or get rid of me. But then there's 8, which is more like a deity, which, I don't consider myself a deity.
Are you a god?
Yeah, like Gozer, the Gozerian. She was a deity. I mean, he was a deity. We don't know. But
speaking of deities...
I don't know. Yeah?
I have no way to transition this. Speaking of annoying deity to deity activities... Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the logistics of being a Ghostbuster.
Okay.
Now, the Ghostbusters have a very trying job. Now, recently in the news, fast food workers were bumped up minimum wage to $15 an hour, while paramedics and other sort of life-saving, higher stakes positions remain at $15. And we're not here to put a stance on this in any shape or form. But we do believe that the Ghostbusters are sort of getting the teacher's degree. And I call it that because teachers get a bad rep for all of the work they do. They put in time, effort, and they control the future, basically, of all of your children. Yet, their pay does not reflect that, as an athlete would.
Yes. Even though in the cartoon... they'll get phone calls from time to time, but it usually turns into something bigger where they don't necessarily have to be paid for their task. And you kind of wonder, like, how are they making this money? Obviously, in the movies, they were paid, like the Sedgwick Hotel. And the town kind of...
How much do you think it costs for a single ghost busting? Like, I have a ghost in my house, nothing too much, but he's knocking my food over and he's being a real dick.
Well, containment, because... is there even a capacity to the containment unit?
Oh, so you think they invoice you based on all the different aspects? Okay.
Like the trapping, they used a trap to catch that ghost, so they have to, recharge the trap, recharge the proton packs.
Not only are you getting into energy, you're getting into substances that are hard to come by.
Yeah.
Chemicals and bounds.
Yeah, I mean, and it also goes into their research of newer inventions that help them catch more ghosts, or even newer ghosts, or worse ghosts, like the PKA meter, the
Ecto-1.
The Ecto-1, the auto gyrocopter, the Ecto-2, 3, 4, you know. So many vehicles that they have, a boat.
That's where their money goes.
Yeah. It goes into the base of that holds up the Ghostbusters. They don't use it for their own gains, they use to build themselves up.
It's just 4 guys. They never branch out into bigger monopolies.
No.
They never have anything flashy to show for it.
No.
They end up having to go back to work
every day
at universities. And like when the Extreme Ghostbusters, which was a spin-off of the Real Ghostbusters, Egon stays behind with Slimer to mine the containment unit. But when things start getting crazy again, he has to hire 4 new younger Ghostbusters.
And we'll go more deep into some other time. But pretty much like
he's still working though at the university.
They consult. Well, no, not at the one they were kicked out of.
Not that one,
but they rent their services out in other capacities, and they do charity stuff, and they visit kids in the hospital.
But there's also, and they did this in the movie too.
Yeah.
There's still people that don't hold them in high regard.
Well, yeah, I mean,
or don't believe in ghosts.
They pull a Scully where they don't believe
this shit.
They have to see it to believe it, but some of them actually still don't believe it, even if they do see it, because it could be some gas leak or some weird unexplainable thing.
That's bullshit. They got the Statue of fucking Liberty to hop down 5th and Main to go kick the shit out of fucking demon deities.
Well, I mean, even so, in the movie, in the courtroom, the judge she starts yelling, and it's like, oh, she's twitching, and the bubbles starts coming up, and then the Scoleri brothers come out, and the ghost, oh my god, it's the Scoleri brothers.
Scoleri brothers are a great name, by the way.
Yeah, and friends of yours. I could quote the whole fucking movie. But
yeah,
I'm not gonna.
That's the bonus features of this episode. Yeah. Just 4 hours of Chad going.
Just me go.
The Scoleri brothers.
Gozer, he came in one of the pre-Trojan forms.
So basically, it doesn't pay to be a Ghostbuster, especially in the Real Ghostbusters, where they are sent to different dimensions and battle more entities.
Yeah, and they're put in physical danger of losing their souls, of their lives, or even limbs and whatnot. I mean, being physically injured. Yet they go out of their way. They're good Samaritans. They go out of their way to save.
Are you crying?
A little bit.
You're tearing
They
up.
go. They make big sacrifices.
Oh my god, you big bitch!
And I feel that they should get a little bit more respect. But for one thing that pisses me off.
Shirt?
What?
What's that under your shirt?
What do you mean?
Move that. Take that off.
What?
You wearing a fucking jumpsuit?
Well, we were doing Ghostbusters. I thought you were gonna wear yours, but I covered up when I saw you weren't wearing.
What's your name tag say?
Nothing. Just leave it alone.
Let me take a look.
No, leave it alone.
Let me see.
Nope. No, come on. Get off.
Goober. Did you spell it wrong?
What do you mean?
What's Goober? Is that like the knockoff brand? Or did you just take this from the janitor? Jonathan Goober.
Well, he rented it to me.
You rented the janitorial garb. But here's the kicker.
Yeah.
You didn't even show me. We're doing a radio show so no one can see it. And then you didn't even show me. You're hiding it under your clothes. What did you plan on doing right after this?
Well, I was going to help him clean up the
streets.
Clean the streets.
The streets.
We're
coming this fall.
Janitor.
Goober and Goober.
Janitor Justice.
Oh, I like that actually.
That's TM'd. You guys can't take it. So
don't touch it.
Don't you fucking dare.
Chad.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to rate this thing.
But wait. We could talk about Slimer, but it doesn't really matter.
That's the thing. We were going to talk about Slimer Toonsters, but we sort of brought him in and out of this conversation because we were asking if he holds up. Yeah. Now, as a kid, he had the Ecto Cooler High C Punch.
Mm-hmm.
He had toy lines. He had the whole thing. They even changed the show after season 3 or 2. 2 or 3. They changed it to
3.
Slimer and the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And they catered the whole fucking thing around this green
Not
booger
all
fart.
the time, but most of the time he was like a plot device that moved things along because he would get into fucking trouble or break some shit. And,
so yeah,
and I mean I would side with Venkman and when he goes Slimer, he deserves to be punished. He should go in the containment.
As a kid, I loved Slimer. I had dolls, I had toy lines, I had the play set of the whole warehouse.
Well, technically, I preferred the movie Slimer because he was just more glutton and like he didn't really have a kind person. He was more just out there.
Ghost.
He was out there for his own accord. He wanted some hot dogs. He's gonna be a hot dog stand. Have a bunch of hot dogs in his mouth. He's gonna be in a Sedgwick hotel. He's gonna fly around eating catered.
Sedgwick Hotel. We cater to all classes.
All classes.
Good. Nice. Go on.
And then in the next one he wants to drive a bus. He's driving a bus and he's like.
See,
I mean,
I love that Slimer.
Yeah, that's a great Slimer.
And in Doses, he's great. However, rewatching him with Frank Welker just going, which no disrespect to Frank Welker, you're amazing.
Well, let's throw this scenario at him. You cook a nice turkey, Thanksgiving dinner, put it on the table, and it's covered by the the silver plate. Cover thing that they usually have, fancy places. I forget what it's called.
A tray and a cover?
A tray and a cover, whatever. You want to get technical with it, fuck you.
Do you just have Boston Market every Thanksgiving? It's a tray.
Okay, so, but no, this is like a brass silver, cover, very fancy. Okay, so, and you lift it up, and look, Slimer's in there, sucking his fingers, the turkey's gone. Sorry. I would be a flippin' mad.
I would suck him up.
Well, okay. All right.
Get my turkey back.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why they put up with this booger fart for so long.
Yeah.
But Slimer the booger fart, it grew very much on my nerves in my adulthood. But that's what we were talking about when we were talking about. How do you hold up for you?
I mean, initially I liked it because he was sort of a. He wasn't as he lived there with them, and some of them were nice on him, but I mean, obviously there was that conflict between him and Venkman because of that initial sliming. Mm-hmm. Like he held a grudge for that.
Yeah.
But
can you imagine what he smells like?
Just it's. I mean, there was no real positive other than a few times where he saved the day. Actually,
like those big watery shits where you almost shit your pants.
Yeah. I
bet he smells like that. That threw up.
Yeah.
Death ate it, and then farted into a corpse's eyeball.
Oh, that's pretty graphic.
And then you mix it with tuna helper. So that's sort of what I imagine Slimer smells like, and everyone's just fucking all catering to the booger fart, like he's Michelle Tanner or something.
Crazy stuff, man. I wouldn't be able to eat Jell-O anymore around him, because he just reminded me of Jell-O.
Okay.
But let's get away from that, and we'll
let's rate this thing.
Yeah, I mean, you guys heard everything about the Ghostbusters. You probably want to hear
from us, at least.
You don't want to hear more jabbering on of our.
We banter. We
banter. We talk, and blah blah blah.
So Chad,
yeah,
you want to start us off?
I guess I can. I mean, I'm a guy who talks.
You seem sad to let this one go.
I really like Ghostbusters, and
then tell us why.
Well, I'll have to give it 5 proton packs.
5. So you were giving it a perfect score. Mm-hmm. The Real Ghostbusters, 7 seasons, 173 episodes from D Coca-Cola and the other one.
Deke Entertainment?
Yeah.
Yes, because all 4 characters. Although the corniest lines they're given, they play it off so well, and it just gives the heart of the show, and it just stays. Like I was already a Ghostbusters fan from the movies, but the show helped me explore their world even more, and very endearing. I had all the toys and video games and stuff, and it was just I consider them friends. They're friends.
The only friends you'll have.
Yeah, and but I mean the stories that go on is like cool. Like the ghosts that they thought up were just very original, and just like and then they take different routes of like the boogeyman and all that, and I just found it all interesting, and like that they created such a backstory for everything of like ghosts in general and supernatural things, and I think that also spun a bunch of other shows and stuff into creating their own lores, and so I think it's a very
tie-in with the Tobin Spirit Guide.
Yeah, the Tobin Spirit Guide, and just being more than a pop culture kind of like. Well, it sticks with you because I mean I'm just fumbling words now. I'm fumbling words, but it's a great show. I think it holds up. Watch it. You'll laugh at the like stupidity of it too, but it's still fun to watch. Like the animation is great. Very they were the same people. I mean, well, it initially started with the people who did He-Man, but not He-Man after that with Dick and everything. But yeah, so it's just great. All around great. I love it. Ghostbusters 5
proton packs from Chad. I'm going to say they took, like what Chad said, they took an iconic pop sort of reference and they elongated it into something way bigger. They gave it a universe to thrive in because Ghostbusters 2 wasn't enough for us. But through the realm of animation, they were able to dive into things that the movies couldn't do. They gave us very original characters. They gave us true... hefty storylines, and then they also gave us some stupid moments that were just great to laugh at. They offered us a fun toy line that we could take outside of the TV show, and more importantly, they gave us 7 fucking seasons. That is, they gave us our fill. They didn't leave us shorthanded like, oh man, the Ghostbusters cartoon only got 2 seasons, or 1 season with 6 episodes, but I wish it was more. We got our full fill of it, and they opened our horizons to a lot of different realms of thinking, really, of what we were talking about today. Like, what goes on? Like, they left us with a lot of questions, but good questions. Not left-hanging questions, but what happens in the containment unit? What's going on with the Ghostbusters?
And to interrupt a little bit, the morals they gave, too, as well. Yep. As you learned... certain things as well in that sense of being a good person and whatnot. But
you can die a ghost fart and come back as friends with everybody.
Did you even give a rating yet? Or were you
Not
just
yet.
Explaining? Oh, sorry. Go on, please, sir. Please, go.
So, with all that in summation, I would say that the Real Ghostbusters would get 4 out of 5 proton packs. No, that's good for me. I give Tiny Toons like 3. So let's be... And Tiny Toons was my ball.
I think you gave him a 4 or something.
Okay, well, calm down. I'm sorry. We're not all in fucking Janitor Goober's fucking jumpsuit, so cool your shit. You got a shoebox with a little paper towel roll like it's a proton pack or something.
Yeah.
You're sad. You're sad, sick man. Anyway, 4 out of 5 for me. Watch it. Like we said, it's very inexpensive on Amazon right now. You can...
or just search Google and you can find them free online if you want.
Online, but we didn't say that. We didn't say that.
But
it's enjoyable.
It's enjoyable. You love it. Show it to your kids. Show it to your dog.
Show it to your dog's dog.
Your dog's dog.
Show it to your friend's dog.
Your guinea pig. Your snake.
The man in the moon that's plotting against you.
Yes.
Anyway, that's gonna do it for Raised by Toons.
And
like I said, my name is Dan the Keymaster Mason.
And I'm Chad Stay Puft Cook.
And remember, if you weren't raised by Toons...
You weren't raised right. Somebody call the Ghostbusters. No?
Thanks for listening to the Raised by Toons podcast. Be sure to visit their website at www.raisedbytoonspodcast.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to their podcast on iTunes, and don't forget to follow them on Twitter and Facebook. Tune in next week to listen to two grown men who peaked in middle school try to relive their glory days.